right. Hey, we're here back again, episode 26, Studio 44, 6300 Smith Road, Bryan Equipment Sales headquarters. Just wrapping up today the first Steel University of 2024. And I have the honor of having the owner of the oldest company that actually participated that I know of, that I didn't triple or double check it, but the owner of the oldest company. Well, I shouldn't say that, but Herbert Motors was there this morning when but they've already been on the podcast. But one of the older companies represented today at Steel University, and a friend of mine here, honored to have him. But I have Mike Baker from Baker Hardware in Okeana, Ohio, somewhat a suburb of Cincinnati. I don't know that I would call it a suburb. Would you? It's its own thing.
Just out in the country,
way out. Describe, Mike, like it's between Oxford. How would you describe it, the location?
We're 8 miles south of Oxford, 6 miles west of Millville.
Perfect.
We're 3 miles from the Indiana line.
Yeah.
And advertising's always been tough because we have 8 different zip codes within 5 miles radius of us.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So direct mail is hard.
Yeah. So again, introducing Mike Baker, Baker Hardware. Baker started back in 1970. Can you just walk us through your personal history with the company? And I guess that will probably give us, the listeners, of opportunity to understand the history of your company and how it all got started back in 1970.
As I grew up, I lived on a farm. My father was a full-time farmer and also a businessman. He raised and produced seed corn and sold fertilizer too. So he was doing more than just farming. But he thought he'd like to have another business on the side, and he thought he could come up with a small business and go over and open it in the morning and go back and collect the money at night. But it doesn't work out that way.
No, it doesn't. You have to be there.
So in 1969, there's a little hardware store out in the country, gas station hardware store by the name of Ward's Hardware, and he was negotiating with Mr. Ward to take over the business and buy it. He was ready to retire. And before he got it bought, Mr. Ward passed away. So
wow.
Dad waited 6 months, and then he went back
To the estate.
and bought it from the estate. So we opened our doors in September 1st of 1970. And I was still in high school at the time, but I worked after school and through the summers and been there ever since. So I've been there 53 and a half years now.
Yeah. So same location.
Same location.
And how long was Ward? Do you know how long they had been operating?
He started in 1955.
Oh, so not, I mean, a fair amount, but not,
Yeah.
15 years, 15 years prior
Yeah,
to when you guys took over.
yeah.
What affiliation are you not right now, hardware chain?
We're a True Value
True
store.
Value. And have you been others, or has it always been True Value?
Well, there's a long history there, but we
Yeah.
started out, we're going to do, we started out buying mainly from Richmond Hardware, which are Miller Brothers in Richmond.
Yep.
But we started buying from Belknap in Louisville, Kentucky, which was one of the largest hardware distributors in the U.S. Yep. And a few years later, we went to a co-op. It was American Hardware out of Butler, Pennsylvania. They changed their name to Service Star, and then later on they merged with True Value.
Yeah.
So since
good history, yeah.
But we've been with mainly American Hardware, Service Star, True Value. It was all one companies all the way through.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, back in the day, it was pretty splintered, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like in the 70s there, I forgot about that. You had buying groups, right?
Yeah.
Distributor type buying groups, buying the product and no affiliation.
Yeah. We were
when you were a Service Star, I mean, nobody knew the name Service Star. Yeah.
No.
Not like True Value where it carries a little bit of name recognition.
Yeah, a little more recognition there.
Cool. So you're working there in high school in the 70s, and then give us a walkthrough of your progression in the company, and where your dad, and when did he retire and all
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Well,
I never met your dad. So,
Okay.
yeah, I never had the opportunity to meet him.
Dad,
Yeah.
great guy, but we'd go around town back in those days. It was cheaper to go pick stuff up than have it delivered, and it was a lot faster.
Yep.
But we decided to check out the steel chainsaws one day, because when we first opened the doors, they already had home light chainsaws at the business.
Any lawnmowers?
Not that time,
no.
although we went with Snapper,
Snapper,
once
okay.
we started doing business with Bryan.
Right.
And we stopped in on Cornell Road at Bryan Equipment and went inside and met Lauren Derrickson. And he showed us around, and
Right.
we said, well, Dad says, what would it take to set up with an account? And he says, well, here's 2 saws, here's an 031 and an 015, take them home and buy them, we'll bill you later.
Cool.
And we'd never,
Yeah.
they didn't know us, never met us, did it all on a handshake.
Nice. Yeah.
And it's like family, so
Yeah.
it's been that way ever since.
Lauren, I knew him, and obviously his son Fred worked for us for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was probably the first true sales manager that we had here. So then you took on Snapper also when we got Snapper, I guess.
Yeah.
Any other lines in the power equipment over the years?
Well, over the years, at one time we had 5 different brands of chainsaws.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And
All right.
had Home Light, McCullough, Pioneer, Steel, and Johnson Red.
I did not know that. Okay.
But as time went on, and when we first started, Home Light was the #1 saw in the U.S.
Yep.
McCullough was #1 in the world.
Right.
We had both of those, but as soon as we got Steel, we knew the quality was a step higher. It was
Nice.
a whole different level.
Right.
And
Well, both of them had entered the mass merchant by then.
yes,
Right? Yeah.
so Steel sales have done nothing but go up the whole time we've been in business, and we phased everything else out and became an elite steel dealer. So
Do you have some wheel goods now, right? Not
just Country Clipper,
just kind of, okay. That's what I thought.
as far as
wheel goods.
And a couple of years ago, I got rid of all the gasoline walk-behind mowers and went just with battery powered.
Powered. Good for you, right?
And works out.
Yeah, eliminate a little bit of headaches there from the
Yes.
technical side. Yeah. You were one of the first, and I know you still have it, that got the automated chain.
The Franzen?
The Franza,
Yes.
yeah, still running, still operating.
I've got 2 of them now.
2 of them, okay.
Back in '09, when Hurricane Ike came through,
Mm-hmm.
I had been looking at the Franzens, and we just got inundated with chains to sharpen.
Right.
So remember there for about a week, had 3 guys down the shop. I had several sharpening machines.
Yeah.
I had the USG Steel, but I also had a couple Sylvie machines and a couple EFCO machines, and we'd have 3 of them going at one time, and we'd run up all day,
Yeah. Yeah.
all week. And I said, I can't stand this anymore.
Right.
I ordered a Franzen, but I didn't get it
Yeah.
till later that year.
It's kind of like ordering a generator that time. You're not going to get the generator for another year either, right?
People like the job that it does for them,
Mm-hmm.
the preciseness of the precision that it does
The
on
grinding.
the grinding, and
Yeah. Cool.
I
So now you have 2.
But I couldn't keep up with one. So just yesterday, I thought with this cold weather, I'll get a break. People won't be out cutting wood. It's too cold.
Right.
I had 54 chains come in for sharpening
Yesterday. Wow.
So
Now, one customer bringing 10 in, or is this 5 customers? or
one guy
just-
brought 10,
Yeah.
one guy brought 11, another
Yeah.
guy brought 28, and there's a
Right,
few
so-
individuals, a couple in the shop.
Yeah,
So,
just one or onesies, twosies, but there's
Yeah.
one guy that had half of them.
yeah,
Yeah. Tree
that
service.
happens. But some days I'll get half a dozen from 10 different people. So.
Yeah. Was the 28 tree service? The guy that brought 28 chains in?
No, it's just a farmer.
Really?
Yeah, he heats with wood, but
And he's tearing it up.
yeah,
Yeah.
so he just accumulated a lot of chains.
Yeah.
So.
Neat. So tell the listeners a little bit, you're a true old-fashioned hardware store. You still have gas, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we try to be innovative as well as try to be reactive to the way things change in the industry. And
You're good. I'm just looking to see if
Okay.
we're recording still good.
a few years back, we were having a lot of service issues that were fuel related, as well as everybody else nowadays.
Yeah.
And still, about 90% of our shop work is carburetor, fuel line, fuel related issues because poor quality fuel or ethanol in the fuel.
Right.
So we were able to have a non-ethanol fuel out there. So I have a 91 octane ethanol free gas that we sell at our pumps, and that's really taken off. And
I didn't know that.
I have car clubs come in with their classic cars and antiques, Model
Makes sense.
Ts that
Yeah.
they don't want to put ethanol in their gas tanks because they're metal and it'll corrode them.
Right.
And I have a lot of motorcycle riders.
Stop in.
I've got people coming from pretty far away to get it because
Is that the only grade of fuel you serve?
No, we sell regular gas
Yeah,
and
but
a mid-grade.
Yeah.
And diesel, and we have the clear K1 kerosene, but we put in the ethanol free to help with our small engine outdoor power equipment.
there's a whole
It's
nother
made a big
market
difference.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
A market that I wouldn't have, I think about it. You're not close, but if you owned a boat, right?
Yeah.
You could come over and.
We're on the way to Brookville.
If you were especially an antique boat, you definitely would want to go that route.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Neat. That's something I didn't know. But even in the store, some of your offerings are pretty unique, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We try to offer personal service and help people with plumbing needs and things that they just can't get help with at the big box stores.
Yeah. 90% of your customers, residential, farm. What do you think? Or maybe
I've got some commercial customers, pros come in, but then it's about 75% private, just individuals, homeowners.
Okay, so 75, 25.
And the business has changed over the years. When we first went out there, it was mostly agricultural business.
Right.
We sold a lot of animal feeds and animal health products.
Did you ever do your own feed? Did you guys ever have?
We had some private labeled for a while,
Cool.
and blends of grass seed, stuff like that.
Yeah. And then how close was the family farm to the location? Did your dad have to go?
We're only basically 3.5 miles.
So right there.
To the farm. And
So back up, you're 70s, you're working there in high school. It's you and your dad. How many employees? Just another one or two?
Just a couple others.
Yeah. And
my mom would help some, and my sister worked there after school when she was old enough. Jill.
Okay. Yeah.
And she's still there.
Yep.
So we're partners in the business now.
Okay.
Dad passed away back in 2009, but
Right. Was he still working up to 2009, or
No,
you and her had taken over kind of?
we'd pretty much taken over.
Yeah.
He had retired a few years before and wasn't able to help anymore.
Yeah.
But he
Still
set us up
Yeah.
pretty well in business. And but anyway, getting back to the beginning, after a few years, around 1976 or so, Dad went to work managing the local water association.
Okay. Yeah.
Southwest Butler County Water.
Right.
And they were sort of in the red. They had just started, and I think they had a manager that sort of messed things up and left town, and so he was on the board.
On the run. Yeah.
But Dad was on the water board, so
Right.
they needed an interim manager, so he stepped in and did it, got him back in the black, and
Cool.
did that for a few years. But
Yeah.
all the time he was there, that left me to just completely manage the store. So
As
I
a
was,
young guy.
well,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I was 21 at the time.
It's pretty young to be running. Yeah.
But I ran the business for several years, and pretty much even when he came back, we ran it together.
Never
And
missed a beat. Yeah.
went to a lot of hardware shows together.
Cool.
Traveled around. That's one nice thing I like about the business is
Yeah.
get to do a lot of traveling. I'm going to Nashville next week, and then
Neat.
for a few days to a hardware show, and then the week after that I go to New Orleans for another hardware show. So
A good deal. And then True Value, or are they just different shows?
one's House Hassan, the second one at New Orleans is True Value.
Okay. Yeah.
And their last show was down in Texas, and then Chicago last spring. The fall before I was in Denver.
Yeah.
So
Wow. It's all
they
over.
move around
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. I'd say. I guess I never realized that. I know, like, because they Do It Best and Ace I'm familiar with, and it seems like their shows are always Indianapolis, Fort Wayne,
Mhm.
Chicago, and that's about it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think they move around much. Ace might be in Dallas, maybe, but it doesn't seem like they move around quite that much. I know Do It Best doesn't, right? I mean, I think they're Fort Wayne and Indianapolis, and that's about it. So the hardware side of it, yeah, that's exciting, and I'm sure. I mean, what a niche for your location and everything. On the power equipment side, do you have a favorite steel product? Yeah.
Was the MS 500i.
Yeah.
Lately, since I've got a combi that runs off batteries, I get a lot of use out of my combi's tools.
Yeah. Yeah.
But one of the favorite little ones right now is the GTA 26.
Yeah. You know, it's an
handy.
interesting little tool, right?
Yeah,
I mean, did you get the extended?
yeah.
Right at the holidays
Got
we
that
started.
too.
Yeah, I haven't played with that yet. I'm kind of curious to see.
It's nice because you
Yeah,
reach out and get a lot of things
yeah.
that you just don't need a giant pole saw for.
Well, I even think just walking around in the yard, you don't have to walk as far to
Yeah.
go over and get the limb, right?
Well,
You just even if the limb's at eye level, you
Yeah.
just reach out with it.
Well, the first time I mow every spring, I put on the mower with me.
Right? I mean, just to get all those limbs out of the way.
Yeah, because a lot of them over the winter, they'll start sagging down, or the tree will grow a little more
Yeah.
after the season.
If so, 50 plus years in retail, and you've lived all of them and been there for all of them.
Yes.
Give the listeners anything particular stick out as far as weird, scary type of retail experience? Have you had any like run-ins with theft, or have you guys had any fires or anything that just sticks out in your mind? Like, oh my gosh, I remember when that happened. Yeah.
Well, after high school, way back at the very beginning, we did have a few problems with break-ins, being out in the country
Yeah.
and not a lot of police response time,
Right.
and they didn't have all the electronic alarm systems
Yeah.
and things back then. So
Right.
I had a motorhome, so I stayed over there at the store for a while, and we did Dad and I went to Detroit and got a radar alarm system. It was cutting edge at the time
All right.
from the guy that developed it, invented it up there, and he was selling and distributing automatic weapons to fire departments, or not fire departments, police departments,
Right.
and tear gas and different
All
things
kinds
like
of
that he had to have federal license for. But he was in an area that he needed protection, so he developed this alarm that actually went off radar
Yeah.
rays, and
Right.
anything that interfered with it, it was like a motion detector,
Yeah.
but instead of using infrared, it used
Yeah.
other signals to other frequencies to detect that. So
Right.
we put that in. So we'd built a pole barn behind the store, and I put the motorhome in there. And one night the alarm went off, and some guys, I had a shotgun. I went out, and they had broke the front door or front window on the store.
Right.
Didn't get in, and I came out, and they saw me. They jumped in the car to take off, and I could have shot them. I wasn't going to shoot somebody.
Right.
I did shoot their tail light out.
Did you really?
As it went by sideways, so I didn't, I wasn't shooting towards them at all.
Yeah.
But
Really?
they didn't come back.
Nice.
But George Ward that stayed there or lived there, he lived next door, and he was having break-in problems. So he had a cot. He slept in the store at times at night. And one night, a guy broke through the front window and crawled through. And George was standing there in there with his shotgun.
Right.
And he told the guy, you better get back out of here, because George it scared him. He was shaking.
Right.
And he says, this might go off. You better get out of here.
Right.
And he said, well, how am I going to get out? And he says, the same way you got in. Crawled right back out through the broken glass.
Wow.
But also, after George died, we owned the store. One of the local deputies came in and told us some stories about before we owned the store. And he said he went there one day to stop by the store and talk to George, and he was talking about the break-ins and stuff, and found out that he had some sticks of dynamite wired up under the front step. And he was going to take care of it. He was prepared.
They weren't going to come back ever again.
Clayton, that was the deputy, he made him take him out. He said, you can't do that.
Yeah. So, yeah, it isn't worth that, right?
Yeah. Since then, we've got a lot better security, and
I mean,
it hasn't been a problem, but I hope it doesn't become a problem.
Yeah. So you had to shoot.
Well,
that's a pretty good story.
That was when I was
that's a good
young
story,
and dumb. But
well,
like I said, I just wanted to let them know I was there.
I think the bad guys were bad guys back then, but they weren't as quick with
now
pulling triggers.
Right.
Now you would not want to even confront anybody. You wouldn't just be like, "Take it, I'm at it." Right. Yeah.
Now they're on videotape. I don't even want to go out in person.
Yeah, exactly. Just let the police handle it and be done with it. Yeah. Because you just don't know nowadays, right? Yeah. That's it. Okay. What kind of car were they driving? Do you remember?
I don't remember. Big old sedan of some sort.
Okay. All right. So that's a pretty good retail experience. One to remember. If you had to, and I know with a family business like this, and you've had to have seen generations of customers.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
One thing we still have, we call it penny candy. Now it's mostly 4 cents, 5 cents, whatever, little Tootsie Rolls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was there from the beginning. And then in the beginning, it was actually penny candy. And it's not cost effective to sell it. We don't make any money on it by the time you count it out and sell it. But Mom and Dad always liked to see the little kids.
Right.
Now, I've got customers come in nowadays that said when they were little, their parents brought them in for that penny candy, and they're bringing their kids in.
Yeah, neat.
And so,
and I guess where I'm going with that is your keys to success for Baker Hardware in Okeana, Ohio, pronouncing it right.
Yes, Okeana.
Yeah. It's that hands-on customer service. It's that little things like that that people remember, right?
Yeah, because got a lot of friends and made a lot of friends in the business.
Yeah. I mean, I think you mentioned it's offering the 91 alcohol free. It's 54 chains yesterday coming in to be sharpened. That to be honest, there's especially in the hardware side of our business, there's probably a percentage of hardware stores that don't even offer chain sharpening anymore, right?
Right.
I mean, I couldn't name one, but I imagine there are hardware stores in our area that flat out don't even offer it. They just
Yeah.
sell the person a new chain.
Yes.
So I think that level of service has got to be why you're seeing generations of customers come back. I think that's really neat, right?
Yeah, we do appreciate our customers. And, but,
I mean, in the draw you get, I've had people tell me, they might move away out of your area, but they still come to you guys. They'll be
Yes.
25, 30 miles away, and they come back to Baker Hardware to buy their stuff, right?
yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's cool.
We've got an air hose out front too to put air in car tires. So.
Yeah.
And it's free.
Yeah.
It's always been there.
That's
Had to
good stuff.
replace the hose a few times, but
Yeah. Now, Jill and you, children, any of them? I'm not familiar. Any interested in the business, or I know your son's an engineer.
my son's an engineer. Actually, when he was in college, he co-opted and went down to work a summer for Steel
Virginia
as an
Beach.
intern
Yeah, that's right.
in the engineering department. So
Yeah.
he's busy and happy where he's at. So my daughter is a speech pathologist and teaches a couple classes at Miami and one down at UC.
All right.
So she's busy with
Yeah,
her career.
yeah.
And then my youngest son is now living up west of Chicago and doing IT work. And
All right.
actually,
Any nieces or nephews in the business? Or?
Jill's son, Corey, which is my nephew, was full-time in the business. Now he still helps us part-time, but
Okay.
he's gone on to doing other things right now. He's sort of a hands-on guy, and even though he's got a business degree,
Right.
he's been flipping houses and
Well, good for him. Yeah.
doing stuff like that. So I don't know what the future will hold with him, but
Never know.
he might be back. And
Never know.
then Jill's oldest son is an electronics engineer, but he helps us out with our video cameras and some of our networking there at the store.
Yeah,
So
good. All right. Well, a shout out to all your employees. Like I said, you guys have got the name recognition in the community, that's for sure. And every time I'm in there, it's that friendly and knowledgeable staff. I mean, it is a great group of people, and I think you're lucky to have them. And I know there's some longtime employees also.
yes, and I appreciate every one of them, and we wouldn't be able to do it without them. But
Right.
the only problem is we're all getting older. They've been with me a long time, so
Nothing wrong with that, right? As
No.
long as we
No,
stay,
we're still having fun.
Stay healthy and have fun and keep after it. Cool. Anything I've missed business-wise, the history of the company that you might want the listeners to know, that like, oh gosh, I don't want to walk out of here without people knowing this about Baker Hardware. Is there anything that comes to mind as far as just the progression over the last 53 years? Anything that we've kind of missed on that? You've been the same building, different offerings.
different offerings.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot of rental now.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
I've got new equipment.
Yeah.
Got like a Bobcat T66 skid steer loader on rubber tracks.
All right,
45-foot aerial tow behind lift.
nice.
Mini excavator.
Yeah,
I've got a ride on or stand on mini excavator that like it's a Bobcat,
Yeah.
similar to a Toro Dingo.
right.
But we're doing more of that all the time.
Well, I could see in your community with the agriculture side of it, where
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to own that piece of equipment because I only need it for a week. Right?
Yeah,
And just come over and
equipment's getting so much more expensive.
yeah. Why
it's-
own it if you just need it?
So we
Yeah.
help people out by trying to rent it.
All right. Neat. If we come to visit you, I know Oxford. What's the go-to restaurant? Where would we go eat? And it's not Skipper's, right? Have you been to Skipper's in Oxford?
No.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of some of the names of
Where do
them.
you guys usually go eat? Like just a go-to, like, oh yeah, let's go here, for lunch or dinner or whatever it might be.
Yeah, a lot of times heading down to Harrison or somewhere.
Yeah.
Patterson's is a good one up
Patterson's, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
for lunch. And,
For lunch, yeah, okay.
uh,
Yeah, just curious, I know. Yeah, Harrison would be the closest,
yeah, good.
right, just straight down the road there.
Yeah,
right?
it's
Yeah.
down California Road and
Yeah.
turns into New Bittinger. And
Hobbies or interests? Do you do fish, do you golf, you know? No, nothing really?
I like hiking and
Yeah.
camping and
Cool. Still have a camper?
not right at the time. My daughter bought one, so
Yeah, all right, getting taken care of it.
yeah, she's.
Yeah,
But,
good. You mentioned Detroit, and just let the listeners know, I just finished a book. It's called Beer Money by Francis Stroh. And for all of my listeners in Michigan, I highly recommend this. Stroh's was the third largest beer manufacturer in the United States back in the 70s behind Anheuser-Busch and Miller. And Francis Stroh was sixth generation. Her father, Eric, was fifth generation. And they went from the third largest beer manufacturer in the country to nothing in the time in her lifetime. Her father and his cousins and everybody bankrupt the company pretty much, and she had a firsthand account of it, and a fascinating story, and a fascinating story of a family business that unfortunately took a wrong turn back in the 70s and 80s. It took a lot of wrong turns and pretty much bankrupt the entire company. Stroh's was bought, and now I think back maybe 4 or 5 years ago, one of the beer companies is making Stroh's again, but it is not the Stroh's family. But it was a family-run business, fifth or sixth generation. Beer Money is the name of the book. It's a pretty fascinating read and especially if you're from the Detroit area. The plant was 1 million square feet. Yeah, and in '86 they flattened it, which is a shame. So there's nothing really to tour now.
yeah.
All of the Stroh's paraphernalia, I guess, from a lot of the offices. Eric Stroh's, the second or third, just did donate it to one of the museums up there, which I really would like to go just see it. Just it'd be fascinating to see what they kept from the building before they destroyed it all. Yeah, good read. Any books lately, or podcasts you listen to?
I've been listening to your podcast
Well,
lately.
thanks.
Got the app on my phone.
Well,
and
cool. I appreciate it.
Bluetooth right in.
Appreciate it. Well, Faith and I, my wife and I, always like to thank our guest for joining us, and I hope we've done a good job of capturing the oral history of Baker Hardware. I think we've done good, and I really appreciate you joining me today. Is there any favorite charity that comes to mind? And if it not, you can get back to me. But we like to make a donation in your name and the Baker Hardware name for joining me today.
Well, we just had a family, a good friend, good customers of our store. Their son passed away from cancer last week, and so we've been
like the American Cancer Society.
Cancer Society,
Yeah.
and
It's always a good one.
always do anything to help rescue animals. So
All right. Well, good.
good. Like that.
Yeah. Well, if you've got a particular one, like if there's a Butler County, if there's a local one up there, just get back to me and let me know.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I always like to do it local if I can.
Yeah,
Especially.
Butler County Humane Society.
Yeah. Okay. Definitely like to do it local. Humane Society. Got it.
Yeah, I've had a lot of good dogs over the years, and
Yeah.
all my dogs for the past several years have been rescue dogs. So.
Nice. Good. Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate it, and have a great spring and continued success. And everybody out there listening, stay safe, stay humble, sell some steel for us, and we'll catch you next time.